As the season nears its conclusion, the miners of Gold Rush find themselves in a high-stakes battle to reach their season goals. Episode 19, Another Man's Treasure, delivered tense moments, unexpected setbacks, and last-minute gambles that could define their entire season. Each mining crew faces unique challenges as they push toward the finish line, knowing that every decision now could mean the difference between success and failure. Parker Schnabel's uphill battle. Parker Schnabel's Dominion Creek claim has been a massive disappointment, yielding far less gold than expected. With time running out, Parker made the tough call to sell some of his equipment to fellow miner Brian McCaughan in an effort to liquidate assets and keep his operation running. However, foreman Mitch Blaschke saw the writing on the wall. Sluicing at the long cut was coming to an end after 19 weeks, raising concerns that the Roxanne wash plant would soon sit idle with nothing left to process. With only weeks remaining, Parker was desperate to find new ground that could salvage his season and help him reach his revised 8,000-ounce goal. He turned his attention to an area filled with tailings left behind from the 1980s and 1990s, suspecting that valuable gold could still be hiding in the old waste piles. To verify his theory, he brought in Tyson Lee to take samples and analyze the pay dirt. The initial results were promising enough for Parker to conduct further testing back at his home base. Unfortunately, the final weigh-in of the test sample did not deliver the numbers Parker had hoped for. With limited time left in the season, he was forced to abandon the idea and instead focus on maximizing production from his existing wash plants. Despite the setback, the team remained determined as they gathered for their weekly gold weigh-in. Big Red at the Bridge Cut contributed 111 ounces, Big Bob at Sulphur Creek added 182.20 ounces, and Roxanne at the Long Cut delivered 155.90 ounces. In total, Parker's crew managed to pull in 449 ounces, worth over $1.1 million. This pushed his season total past the 5,000-ounce mark, but with just over a month left and another 3,000 ounces needed to hit his target, the road ahead looks incredibly challenging. Parker will need to make every second count if he hopes to close the gap. Rick Ness' risky gamble. Over at Rick Ness' operation, the pressure was mounting as his crew entered their fourth week of working the Vegas Valley site. Ness had put everything on the line, sinking nearly $1 million in profits into a massive gamble with hopes of hitting a $2 million jackpot. However, there were still no guarantees, and with no gold yet coming in, the weight of uncertainty loomed over his entire team. Rick knew that to maximize his potential returns, he needed to extend the cut further. He proposed a plan to strip an additional 60 feet over the next 2 weeks before finally removing the remaining 8 feet of overburden to reach the pay dirt. His crew, however, was skeptical. They believed they already had enough pay dirt to work through and worried that spending additional time and resources on stripping would only delay the payoff. Despite their concerns, Rick insisted on pushing forward with his plan, and his crew reluctantly agreed. Almost immediately, problems arose. The new section of the cut was riddled with a thick layer of sloppy clay, making it difficult for the heavy machinery to operate efficiently. Operator Kyle Lawson's rock truck became stuck in the mud, forcing the team to halt work to pull it out. Shortly after, Buzz Legault's truck suffered the same fate. The repeated delays frustrated the crew, and they soon reached a breaking point. They confronted Rick, urging him to reconsider his decision to extend the cut. After weighing the risks and listening to his team, Rick made the difficult choice to cut his losses and shift focus to the pay dirt they had already uncovered. The crew quickly pivoted, spending their final 2 days removing the last of the overburden and stockpiling pay dirt for processing. Rick himself took a pan to test the new pay, and to his relief, he found some solid gold flakes. While the full value of the site remained uncertain, the discovery provided a much-needed morale boost. Now, the race is on to stockpile as much pay as possible and transport Monster Red to Vegas Valley for full-scale mining operations. The coming weeks will determine whether Rick's gamble was worth it or if it will go down as one of his biggest mistakes. Kevin Beets' fight to prove himself. Kevin Beets, stepping into the role of mine boss for the first time, faced his own set of challenges. Determined to prove he could succeed independently from his father, Tony Beets, Kevin set an ambitious goal of mining 1,000 ounces before the season's end. His strategy relied on running his operation 24/7, but dwindling stockpiles of paid dirt threatened to derail his plans. To keep the operation going, Kevin's crew had been steadily working through 3 acres of the Lynx Cut while simultaneously opening a 2-acre extension. They were now racing to strip an additional 3 acres to secure enough paid dirt for the remainder of the season. However, as they pushed forward, disaster struck. Smoke began pouring from their last operational excavator, setting off alarms within the crew. Foreman Brennan Ruwalt rushed in with a fire extinguisher, quickly identifying the source of the issue, the starter motor. Kevin had already replaced the starter motor earlier in the season, but the new part had not fit correctly. After 4 tense hours of troubleshooting and repairs, Kevin managed to get the machine back up and running, preventing what could have been a devastating delay. With the crisis averted, the crew got back to work. As they reached the final section of paid dirt in their current cut, Brennan ventured into the extension area in search of new ground. What he found was nothing short of game-changing rich paid dirt with visible gold flakes. Excited by the discovery, Kevin grabbed a pan to confirm the findings, and sure enough, the results were promising. This new deposit could be the key to reaching his 1,000-ounce target. At the weekly weigh-in, Kevin's crew tallied 159.05 ounces, worth nearly $400,000. While still just under halfway to their season goal, Kevin remained confident that the new paid dirt at the extension could provide the boost they desperately needed. The final stretch. With just weeks remaining in the season, each mining crew faces intense pressure to make every ounce count. Parker must bridge a massive 3,000-ounce gap if he hopes to salvage his season. Rick is racing against time to see if his risky bet will pay off, and Kevin is banking on his new ground to solidify his success as a mine boss. The road ahead is anything but easy, and as Gold Rush Season 15 nears its conclusion, every decision, every setback, and every breakthrough could make or break their year. With millions on the line, the miners must pull out all the stops if they hope to finish strong. With only weeks remaining in Gold Rush Season 15, tensions are at an all-time high as each mining crew faces unique challenges that could define their entire season. But with so many obstacles in their way, the big question remains: who will succeed, and who will fall short? Parker Schnabel has had one of his most frustrating seasons yet. Dominion Creek has underperformed, forcing him to scramble for new ground and even sell his equipment. Despite these struggles, his 3-wash plant operation still managed to break the 5,000-ounce mark in episode 19. However, his revised goal of 8,000 ounces remains a daunting challenge, with time running out fast. Parker's next move will be critical. The test results from the old tailings weren't promising, which means he will need to focus entirely on maximizing output from Big Red, Roxanne, and Big Bob. If he can keep his wash plants running at full capacity and avoid any mechanical failures, he might have a shot at pulling off a last-minute miracle. However, anything less than peak efficiency could see him fall short of his goal. Rick Ness has taken perhaps the biggest gamble of the season, sinking nearly $1 million into the Vegas Valley site with the hopes of doubling his money. So far, the results have been mixed. The coming weeks will reveal whether Rick's risk was worth it. His success hinges entirely on whether Monster Red can process enough gold-rich pay to hit his target. If the ground is as rich as he hopes, he could be on the verge of his most profitable season yet. But if the yields fall short, he may struggle to recoup his massive investment, leaving his financial future uncertain. Kevin Beets has been on a mission to establish himself as a leader, separate from his father Tony Beets' long shadow. His goal of 1,000 ounces is ambitious for a first-time mine boss, and while he has faced setbacks, equipment failures, dwindling pay piles, and operational hiccups, he has shown resilience in keeping his team moving forward. The discovery of high-quality paid dirt in the new extension area could be a game-changer for Kevin's operation. If the ground proves to be as rich as it appears, he could make a strong push toward his 1,000-ounce goal. However, his success will depend on keeping his equipment running smoothly and ensuring his crew can process as much material as possible before the season ends.